Today I'd like to talk about autism and energy levels. Something I've noticed about a lot of people on the spectrum is we seem to lose energy a whole lot faster than the average person. And I think that this is most likely because of just the way that our brains are wired and how we process things. I kind of used to think that maybe we just have less energy than the average person. But the more I think about it, I think in some cases we might have as much energy as the average person, but it's just that we are using more of it to do things, like to process social situations, like trying to figure out the meaning behind people's words and all that, and just processing everything in our environment sensory-wise. I feel like, at least in my brain, I have to do things manually a lot more than other people. Like, there are some things that come to me pretty automatically, especially regarding my interests, but there's some things that aren't really, I don't know, they don't come naturally, like processing social situations and coming to a logical conclusion over, like, someone's intentions, for example. It's a lot harder to do, and I don't always have the energy for it. So sometimes I will misinterpret what people say because I just don't have using the term from the disability community, I don't always have the spoons to process those social things. Oh, my dog wants to come in. Hi, Sammy. Come here. He's cute. I would ask him to say hello, but he doesn't talk. Lately, I've been exhausted, like utterly exhausted, because I've been getting ready to move to another state because my parents are changing jobs and they want to move somewhere warmer because Illinois is so cold in the winter, and I agree with that. I don't want to be in this weather anymore. But along with moving, there comes packing, and with packing, there comes organizing, like everything in the house and throwing things out, deciding what do I keep, what do I get rid of, what do I pack, how do I put them in the box, how do I categorize this item, should I put it in this box or this one, what should I make accessible, what am I going to use while I'm still here. As you can see, there's a lot of things to think about, and I have to think about them constantly as I'm packing. And on top of that, like the physical act of packing, I think for me it can be a little challenging just because I'm a little physically weak, but it's not as challenging as the mental aspect of it, thinking about where things are going, all those things that I listed off, that does a number on my brain. And so I've been going at a pretty slow pace. Everybody, for the most part, they've already got all their stuff packed, but I have some things left, and while it shouldn't take that long once I have a plan in my head of how to do it, like if I were to cut down all that processing power, if I were to take away all the time that it takes for me to actually think about where things go, the actual packing isn't going to take that long. But I know that the processing will make it take long, so I have to manage my time and my energy wisely if I can, which is difficult because I've also been wanting to see friends before I go. So I've been doing social events around here because I figure, hey, I've been in Illinois forever, but there's a lot of things I haven't tried yet. So I'm just like going out doing fun things, visiting friends. On top of that, doing the packing, and then also going to counseling every week, which I've actually had to skip a few times, unfortunately, because of having to do all of this stuff. So having to process all of this by myself in my head has been not so fun. So something I was thinking about earlier, I woke up this morning and I had the determination to basically make this a nice calm day because I don't have a day off for a long time. I still have to pack a little bit, but I got up and my mind was clear, and I decided I'm not going to distract myself by checking my phone because I usually check my phone in the morning. And that's how I thought of this topic, and I was thinking about the fact that it seems like most people need, I think most people need at least one day off during the week. Depends on their energy levels. I mean, there are people who have different energy levels than the average person, whether they're disabled or not, or whether they're autistic or not. Those are two separate things, by the way. And I realized for me, I feel like I need one day off to just sleep all day and do nothing, absolutely nothing. And then I need a second day off to do things that I like doing, like hobbies or fun things or social things. Then again, I wouldn't even count social things as something I like doing. I do like doing those things, but I still need a day off to stay home and do my hobbies in my solitary time. So then if I were to add on top of that, going to counseling during the week, that would take up one day for me of energy. And then hanging out with a friend, that would take up another day. So realistically, if I were to have a full balanced life, I would only be able to work maybe like 3 days a week, because the other days are already kind of taken up. Like, that would be ideal for me. And yet I don't even work 3 days a week sometimes. Sometimes I have other things that pop up and I have to fill those days off with other things, so I gotta take more days off. I feel like the average person can, go to work full time every day of the week, and maybe they'll do some fun things after work, like maybe they'll hang out with friends or just chill and watch Netflix at home or something. And then maybe on their day off, they'll make other plans, whether it's like staying at home and cleaning or hanging out with friends. I don't know. Like, I feel like they can use that day to the fullest. Well, if I only had one day off, I would spend it just staring at the wall. Like, I can't do anything. It's not fun at all, okay? I know I shouldn't compare myself to other people very much. It's not healthy. But I sometimes do wish I had as much energy as other people. And I'm starting to realize that my issues with energy, it's actually not only related to being autistic, it's also due to some other conditions that I have, both emotional and physical. Like I've already mentioned before, that I have OCD and PTSD. And I've noticed that when I get triggered, and I'm using this term the way it's supposed to be used, like when, let's say I have a PTSD trigger. For instance, one of them might be if I make a social mistake and someone is upset with me over it. I have a really hard time with that, because I get this feeling that I'm in trouble. I think that, I don't know what that stems from. I feel like it's because I've had to mask all my life, and so whenever I make a mistake, it's like I've always been in trouble a lot because of making so many social mistakes, and so many even just functioning mistakes. Like, I accidentally drop a glass plate or something because of my poor coordination skills, and it's like, after so many of those, it's like I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm trying really, really hard not to make mistakes. So let's say I get triggered by someone pointing out a mistake that I made. My mind gets muddled. It makes it so much harder to do things. And then anxiety comes, and that uses energy. Oh, a lot of energy. Anyone who struggles with anxiety, you will understand this. It is absolutely draining. And it's not even you're not even doing anything particularly physical. It's just your brain. But it is using your body's resources to kind of go into fight or flight mode, and it's ugh. So there's that, but there's also, as I've realized, well, not just magically realized, I got a hormone test recently, and I figured out that I have estrogen dominance, which basically makes me kind of crazy. So that it heightens the mental aspect, on top of just feeling tired all the time. And then I also figured out I might have insulin resistance. So that would explain why I crash so hard if I don't eat, or just generally feeling really crappy. And it doesn't help my anxiety too, because I get like heart palpitations and stuff like that. It's like I don't like how I feel physically. It that drains me a lot. So that being said, I think that while the nature of the autistic brain can make you have, less spoons to handle things, I think another important factor to consider when you're thinking about autistic people is they could likely have other conditions that are making it worse. I think a lot of us, we tend to have more comorbid conditions than the average person might. Like if someone's autistic, I think they're more likely to have other diagnoses, like some mental, some physical, like, mental might be ADHD, OCD, PTSD, bipolar. Some might have borderline. That's, I think, not as common. But some other issues they might have, like, it's a lot harder to access health care, I think, when you're autistic, having to, like, communicate with your doctors and figure out what you need. I've gotten pretty good at it over the years, but just even getting into it, it's like they don't teach you in school how to navigate the medical system, and so you could easily get into debt or not get the right care that you need. And also due to, I think some people on the spectrum are less aware of what's going on in their bodies. I'm one of the people who I'm hyper aware, so there are definitely people who are hyper aware. That actually helps me when I'm getting medical care, but the people who are not so aware of what's going on in their bodies, they might not be able to describe symptoms to the doctor accurately, and they might get, the wrong diagnosis or no diagnosis of all or at all when they have some issue going on. Also, side note, if it sounds like I'm running out of breath, it's because I'm panting. I'm pacing. I am panting a little bit. I'm pacing because when I am talking, I like pacing. It helps me think. What was I saying about the doctor stuff? Yeah, like, for instance, like, due to like a great number of factors, it's harder to just manage good health, I think, when you're on the spectrum. Managing stress levels, managing anxiety, managing like things like diet. I know a lot of us might be real picky about what we eat, so we might not be getting the nutrients that we need. And there were some other physical things I thought of. Yeah, also it's pretty common for autistic people to have stomach troubles, whether it's caused by anxiety or it could just be, a common thing for us, where we might have irritable bowel syndrome or food intolerances. I don't know how common it is. I'd have to honestly look at some statistics for that. I know some people try to treat autism by treating the stomach issues, which, I mean, certainly if you do have stomach issues and you treat it, it's gonna improve a lot of things. But some people think that it can cure autism, or that the stomach issues are like the cause of the autism, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there. Just keep an eye out for that. That's kind of bogus. Like, it doesn't cause autism. It just might happen more with people with autism having stomach problems. Yeah, anyway, I guess I said everything that needed to be said. And yeah, I'm going to be posting this on YouTube. So if you personally have had any, experience of not really being able to keep up with other people energy-wise, comment below. And you're awesome. And yeah, I can't think of any interesting questions to ask you guys, but yeah, I'm open to whatever comments you might have on this topic, and have a great day. Bye-bye.